Look, man, sometimes you're gonna mess up. Sometimes you're gonna take a step back. Sometimes you're gonna hit a roadblock. Sometimes you're gonna fail. You're not gonna win all the time. But that doesn't mean that your process isn't working. That doesn't mean that you're not making progress. That doesn't mean that you're not taking steps forward to where you want to be, to your goals, to your dreams. It doesn't mean that your process isn't working, because perfection is not the goal. Perfection isn't the goal. Perfect will never happen. But the goal you're chasing is progress. Progress is the goal, not perfection. Your process is never going to be perfect. There's never going to be anything perfect in this world. And I've told y'all that before. So why chase perfection? Why chase perfection? Just chase progress. Chase being 1% better every day. Chase being a little better every single day. Chase being, the best version of yourself. Don't try to be perfect, because the process, the journey is not perfect. Nothing's perfect. A lot of people like to quit because they think that hitting a roadblock, or they think that, setbacks mean failure. A lot of people like to quit because they think that if they lost, a certain amount of subscribers, or they lost a certain amount of followers, that they can't come back from that. A lot of people think that if they're not getting views, if they're not making money at the business they just started, they think that's failure. But the only way you can truly fail is if you give up. The only way you can truly fail is if you quit. These setbacks, these failures, these roadblocks, these fall offs, these mess ups you're experiencing, bro, like, that's not failure. They're meant to be in your process. They're meant to be on your journey, because that's when you grind even harder. That's when you lock in even more. The process is supposed to be messy, bro. The process is never going to be perfect. Like, there's nothing perfect. The process is supposed to be the messiest part of it all, because that's how you grow. You get uncomfortable when you fail. You get uncomfortable when you hit these roadblocks or these setbacks, and you grow from them. You grow when you're uncomfortable. I've told you that before also. Like, your process is going to be messy. There's no doubt about it. You're going to fail a million times. You're going to take a million steps back. You're going to hit a million roadblocks. But that makes you grow. That forces you to grow. That puts you in an uncomfortable situation so you can grow. The process is going to be messy because there's no glow up. There's no success. There's no goals being achieved. There's no dreams being achieved without the grind, without the process, without the journey. There's no way you can achieve success without the journey, without the process. And on that process, there's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be failures. It's going to be messy. But that makes that success hit even harder. Like, you got to grind to get there. You got to grind for success. You got to grind to achieve your goals. You got to grind to be the best version of yourself. But there's no glow up. There's no success without the grind. So just endure that messiness. Just endure those failures. Just endure those setbacks, because the process is never going to be perfect. A lot of people always say, like, you got to take 2 steps forward even when you take 1 step back. You got to take 3 steps forward when you take 2 steps back. That's what growth is. You can't let these setbacks stop you. You can't let these failures stop you. You can't. And there's going to be times where you doubt yourself. There's going to be days when you want to give up. There's going to be days. That's just one of those times you take a step back and then you take 2 steps forward from that. There was times where I didn't want to keep doing this. There's times where I didn't want to make videos, post videos. Like, if you go look back at my videos, bro, I did not post every day in January, because there was days I just wanted to take a break. There was days I didn't want to do it. I was posting videos to 10 viewers, 5 viewers, and I didn't want to keep going. Like, it's gonna happen. You're human. Like, you're gonna have these moments of doubt. You're gonna have these days when you want to give up. You don't want to do this anymore because you're not seeing the progress. But every time you get back up, you're building resilience. You're building strength. You're building character. You're building discipline. You're becoming the best version of yourself by getting back up. You're becoming the best version of yourself by taking 2 steps forward when you hit a roadblock, or when you fail, or when you fall off, or when you mess up. So those moments of doubt, those days when you feel like giving up, they don't matter, because you took those 2 steps forward. That's how you grow. That's how growth happens. That's what growth looks like. It's always coming back more than what you lost, always coming back more than when you failed. You got to take 2 steps forward even when you take a step back. Like, you got to. That's what growth is. That's what resilience is. That's what discipline is. That's what strength is. Because, like I said, bro, your process is not going to be perfect. It's going to be very messy. It's going to be a million times when you fail. But what determines how you get out of that, what determines how successful you are, how many, of your goals you achieve, is how many times you get back up from those failures. How many steps you take forward when you take a bunch of steps back. That's what determines that. That's what determines how much you grow. So how many steps are you going to take forward? How many times are you going to get back up? You got to get back up every single time. You got to take a step forward every single time. You can't quit. You can't give up, even when you want to give up. even when you're doubting yourself. Just get up and take that another step forward. Get up and, go do it again. Go try it again. And if you fail, try it again. Keep going until you succeed. Keep going until you make progress. Keep going until you grow. Because mistakes teach you. You learn from mistakes. You learn what doesn't work so you can figure out what does. You learn what doesn't work so you can figure out what does work. That's the art of getting back up 7 times when you fall 6. Like, you got to come back and you got to get up and you got to take steps forward every single time. Because every single time you fail, you're learning from it. Like I've always said, like, there's no losses, bro. Like, there's no L's, because a L stands for learning. You learn from these mistakes. You learn from these failures. They teach you. You learn what doesn't work so you can figure out what does work. That's why you got to get up seven times when you fall 6. And your struggles and your failures and your setbacks, they build muscle. They build strength. You're getting mentally and emotionally stronger each time you push through, each time you get back up, each time you take a step forward. You're building strength in your mind and your emotions. It could even be physically. You out there lifting, you trying to max out and you fail 5 times, but you get it on the 6th one. You're making yourself physically stronger. That's mentally too. You're making yourself mentally stronger, telling yourself that you can do it. No matter how many times you fail, you get back up every single time you try it. Because setbacks shape your story. They make the win even more powerful. They make that success hit even more different. When you failed 8 times, but you got up 9 and you succeeded on that 9th time, that success is going to hit different. Setbacks shape your story. They make that successful even more better when you do achieve your goals, when you do achieve your dreams, when you do become successful, when you do become the best version of yourself. Like I said, there was days I wanted to quit. There was days I wanted to give up. There was days I wanted to just stop and go another route, stop making videos, all that. But I got back up, and the other day, like, I gained 50 subs in one day. That was my sign to keep going. That's my sign to not stop. Just keep going forward, keep taking steps forward. No matter how many times I may fail, no matter how many videos might not get over 10 views, no matter how many days I go without getting a subscriber, like, I got to keep going. I got to keep working. I got to keep grinding, because my breakthrough is coming. And when I do achieve my goals, when I do achieve my dreams, and when I do become successful, like, that success is going to hit even different because of all these days I grinded and worked when, sometimes it wasn't paying off. Sometimes I wasn't making progress. It's going to pay off in the long run. So stop chasing perfection. Chase consistency. Chase discipline. Chase work every single day. Don't chase perfection. Don't chase perfection. You got to get up and you got to work every single day. There's nothing in life that's going to be perfect, so don't chase it. Just chase progress. Chase growth each and every day. Chase consistency, because you're not failing. You're not failing. You're learning, you're adjusting, you're evolving, you're adapting, you're growing. Like, you're not failing. Every L is a learning experience. Every L is a growth experience. There's a new way you can work. There's a new way you can grind. There's a new way you can grow. So you're not failing. You're learning, you're adjusting, you're evolving, you're adapting, and you're growing. And every imperfect step, every step that you take that may feel like it's not right, that may feel like you're not making progress, is still a step forward. Because even in the times where you don't feel like you're making progress, I promise you, you're still making progress. As long as you're putting work in, as long as you're grinding, as long as you're putting energy towards what you want to do, that's progress. It may not seem like it on the outside. You may not see the results, but those results are coming. Every day you work, every day you grind is progress, because you're making yourself better. You're getting better at what you want to do. You're getting closer to what you want to do. You're getting closer to your dreams. You're getting closer to your goals. So it's still progress, even if you can't see it. Even if you can't see it, it's still progress. So just keep going, bro. Just keep going, keep grinding, keep working. Even if it's messy, even if it's not perfect, even if you're failing a lot, even if the process is slow, the journey's slow, like, you don't gotta be perfect. You're still making progress. You don't gotta be perfect, but you're still making progress. Like, there's nothing that's perfect in this world. Your process is not gonna be perfect. Your journey's not gonna be perfect. So just keep pushing. Just keep going. Just keep grinding. Just keep working. And know that every day that you work, every day that you grind, every day that you put energy in, you're making progress. You're getting closer to your goals. You're getting closer to your dreams. You're getting closer to the person you want to be. You got to believe that. You got to know that. And you got to trust that. Just keep going, because your process is not going to be perfect. But that'll be all for this video, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you like this video, go hit that sub button. On the way to 300 subs. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one.